Aloha Panther students and parents. This is Principal Lino. I am excited to confirm that we will be starting our ABCD blended learning model as previously communicated this next Monday, February 22nd. Per this past week's Department of Health School Guidance Metrics Update, Maui has moved to the orange category, which indicates blended learning for all schools. The following are important reminders for all students. Students must bring their printed schedule on their first day physically back to school. Students will continue learning both synchronously as well as asynchronously. Attendance will continue to be taken at the beginning of each class period. Students will not be marked absent if they're present either in person or online. On days that students are not assigned to be on campus, they will log into classes at the beginning of each period. All students will follow the bell schedule whether learning virtually at home or attending school for in-person learning. Students need to bring their own earbuds or headphones when they attend school. Students should leave their school-issued Chromebooks at home when they attend school. Students who are learning through the Acellus online program will continue to do so. Monday is referred to as Student Support Monday. It will be used mainly to provide extra time and support for students who need it, helping them achieve academic and whole child developmental success. This will be determined mutually between students, parents, and their teachers. All 7 periods, 1 through 7, will be held on Monday, and for the students who are physically on campus, they will attend classes according to their respective periods. Students at home on Mondays will not be required to log in for every period unless their teacher requires them to do so. Mondays will continue to end at 1:10. I will now explain how students have been grouped, their color code, and their frequency on campus. Student groups are designated by the first letter of their last name. Group A, which is green, have the last name starting with A through D. Group B, which is gold, have the last name starting with E through J. Group C, which is red, have the last name starting with K through O, and Group D, which is blue, have the last name starting with P through Z. Students will attend school on 2 consecutive days every other week. Only 1 student group will be on campus each day on their assigned day. There may be additional students on campus due to unique needs and situations. Groups A and C will attend school every other Thursday and Friday in alternating weeks. Groups B and D will attend school every other Tuesday and Wednesday in alternating weeks. Students were divided into 4 groups to ensure adherence to the required 6 feet physical distancing throughout campus. Students, please be sure to attend school only on your assigned days. If you attend on your unassigned day, your parent or guardian will be called to come to school and pick you up. The following 3 slides show the attendance and rotation schedule by color-coded student group for the remainder of the second semester. This slide shows the remainder of the third quarter, which ends on Friday, March 12th. Spring break is the week of March 15th to the 19th. This slide shows the first 5 weeks of the fourth quarter, which begins on Monday, March 22nd. Please notice that the first 2 weeks of the fourth quarter end with consecutive Friday holidays. That said, Group A, Green Group, will attend on Monday, March 22nd and Thursday, March 25th. And Group C, Red Group, will be attending on Monday, March 29th and Thursday, April 1st. This slide shows the second 5 weeks of the fourth quarter and second semester, which end on Friday, May 28th, the last day of school for students. As you are well aware, this is what the second semester bell schedule looks like. This slide includes 3 columns, 1 for each grade level, and illustrates Mondays as Student Support Monday. You can see that all 7 academic periods are reflected on Mondays. Each period will be 35 minutes long. Mondays will end at 1:10. This slide illustrates the schedule for Tuesdays and Thursdays. These days will have periods 1, 2, 3, and advisory. Each period will be 75 minutes long. The school day will end at 2 o'clock. This slide illustrates the schedule for Wednesdays and Fridays. These days will have periods 4, 5, 6, and 7. Each period will be 75 minutes long. The school day will end at 2 o'clock. I know you've seen these next few slides in a previous presentation, but they are worth repeating. This slide is number 1 of the fabulous 5 of decreasing the spread of germs and infectious diseases, including COVID-19. Please conduct a daily wellness check in the morning before sending your child to school. The content of this slide is self-explanatory. Under number 1, if your child has just one of those 12 symptoms, please do not send him or her to school. Please do your part to keep Kalama healthy and safe. If your child is at home feeling sick, this slide shows the guidance for when to send your child back to school. Please see in the table that there are 3 criteria for returning to school. 1, show proof of a negative COVID test. 2, bring a signed note from a licensed healthcare provider. Or 3, stay home for at least 10 days since any symptom first appeared. Please note that for each of those 3 ways to return to school, all 3 criteria contained in each column must be met. Upon sending your child back to school, he or she will first report to the health room to get cleared to be on campus. If your child either has proof of a negative COVID test or a doctor's note, please have him or her bring it to campus and show it to the school health assistant in the health room. This is number 2 of the Fab 5, wearing a face covering or mask. It is mandatory that your child arrives at school with a mask. If possible, have your child bring a backup mask in case something happens to the original one. You will see on this slide that a mask shall be worn at all times and in all places on campus. Exceptions include when a teacher allows a mask break in the classroom, when a student is eating in the cafeteria, or when a student is sipping out of his or her own water bottle. And on an individual case-by-case determination, an exception may be allowed due to a medical reason or disability. In that situation, an alternative will be explored, such as wearing a face shield. I realize that most of our students have been generally home for almost a year without the need to wear a mask. All students must understand that wearing a mask at school is mandatory, not optional. If a student refuses to wear a mask, Chapter 19 regulations for insubordination will be invoked. This slide offers guidance for the proper wearing and fitting of a mask. Please take a moment to read the content of this slide. Also, the wearing of gaiters is allowed, but not the wearing of bandanas. This slide shows how not to wear a mask. Please examine the 7 examples illustrated on this slide. Wearing a mask is a very serious issue. A mask is not a play item. A mask will protect your child from being infected, and it will help prevent your child from infecting another person. Number 3 of the Fab 5 is washing your hands. Throughout campus, there will be an ample supply of soap, water, paper towels, and also hand sanitizing stations. Besides wearing a mask, the most effective way to stop spreading germs is to keep your hands clean and disinfected. And that brings us to number 4 and number 5 of the Fab 5. Number 4. Keep at least 6 feet apart from each other, which will be the equivalent of keeping both arms' length away from each other by stretching both arms out to your side, parallel to the ground. This will be the hardest thing to do for middle school age students, especially since they haven't regularly seen each other for months. But wearing a mask and keeping physically distanced from each other will significantly reduce the spread of germs and infectious diseases. And number 5 of the Fab 5 is simply keep your hands and feet to yourself. That means no touching. We do not recommend even fist or elbow bumping. Again, no touching. If you have any questions, please call the school at 573-8735 and we will be happy to assist you. Now, more than ever, we must each do our part to keep our campus as healthy and safe as possible so that our students can be successful learners. Please replay this presentation if you need further clarification. Please also know that the Department of Education has firm protocols for when a positive COVID case or a close contact of a positive case directly affects the Kalama campus. Those will be communicated to you at the appropriate time. Thank you very much for listening and watching, and we look forward to seeing our Panthers back in a few days. Mahalo and go Panthers!